There might be some, you know, where it's
The sheriff.
Charles is our.
They want some longer than the sheriff. Yes.
It's real, isn't it?
Okay. But it's usually compliments.
You might be on video. I worked hard for it.
It's interesting. It's another thing I haven't been exposed to in that person. So.
I've heard a lot of different.
That Robert, I think?
So we still have 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's hot.
You get to be up there all by yourself. Run the show.
And I change it to dictatorship.
I'm thinking that's what they call holding down the fort.
Must be.
Well, no, Robert's point sick yesterday. They didn't call him? Oh, he's online? Okay.
There'll be periodic iced tea breaks throughout this.
I don't think there's anything I can do against it.
Both Tyler and Robert are on the Zoom meeting.
Is everybody else that we're expecting to be on
Mhm.
the Zoom meeting on?
So far.
What else do we have?
That is all. You have Summer on there. Her item is on the consent agenda. About it or concerns or had any comments? That's item C on the consent agenda.
Does that happen in a meeting I'll ask?
Okay.
To pull it out.
When you get old and you have holidays and these things on, you almost.
I wonder if we're gonna hand, but I don't know.
All right, it's that time. We'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now that Tyler's getting back on, I can proceed. Otherwise, I don't have a form. Robert and Tyler are joining us via Zoom. Before we get started, Tyler or Robert, You guys are having a great night. Is there anything on the consent agenda that you would like to have removed?
I have nothing.
Okay, that was Robert, nothing?
Correct.
Tyler? Still connecting, but not even. I am gonna ask we pull off item E.
Can I make an adjustment on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Item D,
I what?
item D,
D.
which is the water tower lease with Verizon. Right now, we're having a little bit of an issue with the legal description of that piece of property. So what we'd like to ask instead is when we get that hammered out, if we have permission to go ahead and sign the lease. From what we can ascertain at this point, they've got the water tower sitting in the middle of the Catholic church.
It's just a slight survey here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pull item D out of the consent agenda. And Tyler, did you have anything you wanted to pull out of the consent agenda?
I do not.
So we're pulling out D and E. And since in the consent agenda is the information on the agreement with Summer, and none of us had any issues with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave that in, and she does not need to remain on.
Thank you, Council. Good to see you for half a minute. Take care.
Thank you, Summer.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Now let's get to the discussion regarding Third Street mid-block crosswalk. Those that don't know, can you start from the beginning, Mike?
Yes, a couple of weeks ago, it came to our attention that a concerned citizen painted crosswalk lines across the north end of Third Street towards Moonbeam Avenue. As they came to our attention, so we had a discussion with Sergeant Anderson and decided that that was not a good location for crosswalks at that point. In the meantime, there has been some notification to the council members, and one of them weighed in on it, saying that that should be a good spot for one, and that we should have that discussion at this month's city council meeting. Well, what we have ascertained is that the right-of-way along Third Street, one, is not improved, so it's not set up for parking. And secondly, it borders up to the railroad property, in which anybody that crosses onto that is can get trespassed. So we decided to go ahead and talk to the gentleman that was responsible for the crosswalks and have him paint over them. That's pretty much the gist of the story. And if anybody on the council has anything they would like to say for or against, that's what we're doing here tonight, talking about it.
So the citizen did not do it out of malice? No criminal intent?
No, he thought that at the time that those of us in public works were too busy to be able to do it, so he just took it on himself to go ahead and paint the lines.
And I would think that us as a council would want to get the message out that nothing's to be done public works wise without the authority of our city staff and without going through the proper channels. I saw that there was walking signs. Is there walking signs that Public Works put up?
Yeah, they were put up quite a long time ago, and all those were put there for is to let drivers know coming down that area that there are going to be the possibility of pedestrians, because that is an entrance into Barnsley Park, and a lot of people use it in the walk either way along Third Street. But it was never our intention to allow parking on the east side.
So I can kind of, I guess, understand a little bit of the miscommunication. If you've got pedestrian signs in a small area and somebody forgot to paint a crosswalk, although it's not up to city standards, it looked like it was way too big.
It was.
And I would believe that this walking area is similar to 99E, having signs that say lots of pedestrians from the north end of town past the mini storage, that area. There's no set crosswalk. It's just a warning there could be people in the area.
That is correct, yes.
Has it been painted over since?
Yes, it has.
And is it to Public Works approval?
Yes. The paint's not black, it's gray, but it's not white, so it'll work for what we need it for.
Councilor Prenslow, your thoughts?
When I run across that area, since those crosswalk lines were put in, I questioned why they were there. They should not be there, in my opinion. There is no reason to cross 3rd Street at that location, and I would be against putting any such crosswalk in at that location. Thanks for taking care of that, Mike.
You're welcome.
Councilor Thomas, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is bizarre. I'm not in favor of a crosswalk there. It doesn't make sense. Are we charging this individual for time and materials in lieu of a citation? That might be a question more for Chief Rash, but it would seem that either this individual needs to pay for the time and materials or be cited, one of the two. I would prefer that they pay for the time and materials.
We had him go out and repaint the lines.
Okay.
He's-
So it didn't incur the city any cost?
So with his time and his materials.
Okay, thank you.
And it sounds like he was counseled on appropriateness of doing his own thing,
Yes.
getting a nod from everybody. Okay. Is there any other discussion anybody wishes to say? I am not in favor of a crosswalk there. I am in favor of notifying the public that there are pedestrians in the area, but not a generalized crosswalk right there. Sounds like we have a consensus that it was handled correctly and that we're not going to go any farther with that.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. Wastewater master plan project update.
Yes, we've got the bid back from the engineer on the cost to do the wastewater master plan. And this is a good time to tell you that we're also in communication with Oregon DEQ on our renewal of our permit for the wastewater treatment plant. So this master plan project came at the right time, because I've got a meeting with them on the 20th, that is DEQ, and they are going to discuss the changes that are going to happen with our permit, and also suggest funding options to get those done. So I've got a feeling that whatever's coming down the pipe is going to hit us fairly hard. So that being said, we do have the cost estimate from the engineer. The regular master plan for the wastewater plant and the collection system comes in $95,000. They've also thrown in some optional tasks that I would like to discuss with the council tonight. Both of these that I'm looking at are reasonable and I think should be considered. The first one is an inflow and infiltration study. And what that basically does is it looks at the flows coming into our collection systems from non-sewage sources, such as catch basins hooked into the sewer line, storm drains from your house hooked into the sewer line, cracks in the pipe that would cause infiltration through groundwater into the pipes, I think it's a good task to look at because it would show us where we could do some work on the collection system to reduce the flow into the wastewater plant. That one is comes in at right at $30,000. The second one that I'd like the council to take a look at is for our GIS mapping program. And what they'll do is they'll, in a computer program, they will tell us where our the collection system lines are, what size they are, and how deep they are. And they'll put it on a mapping program. So if we need some information about a certain section of sewer pipe, we tap it up on the computer and it'll show us in a 3D graph what we've got underground. That one is also an extra $30,000. So what I'm proposing tonight is with the regular master plan study of the wastewater plant and the collection system, also add on the infiltration and inflow study and the GIS mapping, and the bill for that comes to $153,000.
It's not a buy two, get one free.
No, unfortunately. And I don't have a coupon for it either.
Is the money already in our
Yes.
coffers to cover this?
Yes, we do have money in the budget to cover this expense.
So the question I have is, once this is done, is there a way for us to keep this updated from now until, or when it's completed on forward? So if we add more in-ground, it'll pop up automatically, or is this gonna be something that?
No, the master plan for the wastewater plant is supposed to be good for about 20 years. At the end of the 20 years or a reasonable time, we need to relook at that. So that's just something that's ongoing as time goes on. The I&I, once you signify where those problems are, you fix them, you don't have those problems anymore. So that'll take care of itself. And with the GIS mapping, we would have any new subdivisions, put that into a format that we could put onto our computer. And so it would just be an ongoing thing that way. It wouldn't be something we'd have to go out and pay money again to have done.
Does this include like fire hydrants, personal water lines, or is this strictly
Just sewer.
and storm?
No, just sewer.
Just sewer.
Is this the plan that was already went out for bid, and these are extra add-ons
Yes.
after the fact? So did you find out if, since it's over the dollar amount, if we need to rebid this, or?
No, we talked to David Doman with the lawyer's office, with legal, and he doesn't see a problem with the extra bit of money for this one.
Okay.
If you'd like, we can send you a copy of this in the morning.
No, I just wanted to make sure,
Okay, yeah,
because we had talked earlier.
yes, we have asked.
Okay, council members, Tyler, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think it's something that makes sense, and I don't see a reason why we shouldn't do it.
Robert?
I think that it's well overdue and we need to get this taken care of. I'm in agreement of all what he's asked for, those three expenditures.
Great, thanks, Robert. I see no reason why not. Do we need a motion? I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the expenses as outlined.
And I'll second it.
Motion and second to approve the wastewater master plan project. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Counselors, it's time for our presentations. Robert, do you have anything?
I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Tyler?
I have nothing. Thank you.
I have nothing at this time. So we'll get right into staff reports. Chief Fresh.
Thanks. So you have my report. I think you guys are gonna do the consent agenda with a request to shut down D Street at 7th and 10th for the Veterans Day Memorial. And, I approved that. So and the police department plans on being representing the city. Excuse me. I think you were sent the stats. The officers were very active. 27 arrests, 108 citations issued, 434 calls for service. So they've been pretty active out there. Just one stop that came to mind. It was happened actually in October. But Officer Jimenez saw some people by mailboxes at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock, somewhere in there. And he thought that was kind of weird. Made a traffic stop on him, and this was a sophisticated identity theft. And he pulled out several. It was pretty sophisticated. It wasn't just your typical looking for some mail. One person had a warrant, and I believe the other two were cited and released because the jail couldn't take them. But it was a great stop. Got a lot of information out of it. So kudos to Officer Jimenez. Does anybody have any questions for the police department?
I'm sure can we all talk, or do we have to wait for the mic thing?
I don't know how that works.
I can wait till they ask any of us to speak, I guess.
Counselors, do you have any information or anything you want to ask Chief Rash about? Tyler?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Robert?
I have no questions, but thank you for all your hard effort. The police department, Chief, and your officers are doing a fine job. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, Chief Budge.
Just a few comment quickly. The Woodburn Fire District is in a position where we're adding a second career staffed engine. That'll be 4 career firefighters on duty Monday through Thursday from it's 7 in the morning till 5 at night. So that's the first step towards a fully staffed 24/7 engine coming out of Woodburn. So that, of course, benefits the Hubbard Fire District and all of our partners around the county here due to the mutual aid agreements are in place. So that'll be extra protection for this community as well. So this is being made possible with the industrial development that's happening rapidly down in Woodburn, and this mostly the industrial property owners that provide the majority of our tax support. So that's been a real blessing, and it'll be needed throughout this. It is needed throughout this whole area. So that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Chief. I have heard comments back of the appreciation for Hubbard Fire assisting Mount Angel last early Saturday morning in the massive structure fires that occurred there. And it was mutually beneficial for everybody to come together and assist in getting.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. This crew in Hubbard was credited with saving their post office because there was ember drops all over that community, and it had started a fire on the roof of the post office, and the Hubbard crew put that out. So
great to hear. Thank you, Chief. Counselors, do you have anything to add? Tyler, Robert?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
I have nothing. Thank you, Chief Budge.
Administrative Department?
I don't have anything to add to my report unless you have some questions about it.
I have no questions. Vicky, thank you.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thanks.
I have no questions, but Robert, I think we should try to get something in the newsletter by the 14th of October, if we can. I love Santa, so expect that to come from us. Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. I have no questions either. Public Works.
You've got my report. At this time, we don't have anything to add. Do you have any questions?
I had asked for out of the consent agenda, item E, which is your item 3. Thank you. Is now probably the best time to bring that up. I'm going to read the approval of the application for Rocky Sherwood to reserve Barnsey Park October 16, 2021 from 4 to 10 for the Harvest Festival and Dance contingent upon receiving the required insurance documentation. And under Public Works report, that we approve the application contingent, of course, upon insurance. And I think it's going to be a fun event. I just want to make sure on behalf of the city that we have crossed our T's and dotted our I's. That the police department's all signed off. I know Public Works is. We got all the notifications for the fire department. And then I want to make sure we have an idea of how many people we could potentially expect. Rocky?
All right.
And it's nothing, and this is nothing against you, Rocky. This is knowing the kind of logistics that happen at the Hot Fest and what they do to make that happen. I just want to know that we're going to have this happen safely and up to par.
So just let council know, Tyler Thomas and Penzlow, we got hit with like to get insurance on short notice, and we ended up needing money, so we went to State Farm. Justin Stearns, he wrote a check out for our insurance for the party to go on. So I went to the insurance company in Canby, got insurance, turned it in to Public Works right away. This is what I need to approach to you guys, because I really wanted to say something, but I didn't have the time. I didn't get called. So Tyler Thomas, Robert Princelow, that's kind of in my neck of the woods over on 3rd Street. And I see it every day, people speeding down that road like a drag strip. If we can get a sign with the arrow pointing to Barnsey Park on our side of the street, that way people slow down knowing, because when you drive by, you don't even see a park entrance, you just see an open fence. And I think with our visitors like Amazon drivers and UPS, we gotta have some kind of sign, or somebody could get ran over at night if there's no reflective sign pointing into the park. I understand the guy that did it at midnight, he's probably inebriated, and I don't support that because he should have went through the proper channels. But as a concerned citizen that does a lot in this community, my number one priority is safety before our events. And I believe that we need to have some kind of marker going into that park that's legal and it's reflecting. That way people that come down the street, they can see that there's a park there. And we don't have that right now. I see a lot of people in the walk around. I walk around down 3rd Street and I visit with everybody along there, and I want to get their ideas, what they would like to see, because I'm kind of like the spokesperson in this area, especially that's close to my home. And I want to work with the police by not setting an example for these people, not to say that, hey, it's okay to go do that. And if one person doesn't, then everybody else will follow their footsteps. Next thing you know, we got 1 million crosswalks in the town. We can't have that. So we got to make people believers and like do more than a slap on their hand.
I understand, your frustration with that on Fifth Street, correct? Or are you talking Third?
Third Street, into the park, an entrance that shows that there's a park there.
Okay, so they put the pedestrian signs are up. They're not coming down. The signs that are already there that was recently put up, they're not coming down. It's just the unapproved crosswalk is coming.
I get it, I get that, I'm just saying that we should have some kind of sign, says Barnsley Park right there, so people can see there's a park there. Cause those signs aren't lined up with the entrance to the park.
The entrance to the park was put in as a convenience for those neighbors, but our intention as the city is to have people go in the proper way off of Fifth Street.
Oh, I got
We're
it.
trying to discourage people parking in a no parking area too close to the railroad tracks.
No, I'm talking about walking, I'm not talking about vehicles, I'm talking about
But
walking.
it is a convenience, am I correct, Public Works? It's
Yeah.
put in as a convenience walkway for the people on Third Street
Okay.
and down there. But
Okay.
we don't want to make that a major thoroughfare.
I got you, and I want to say thank you so much to pass that event, things are going good, and recently Comcast got in contact with me, so they're bringing a setup crew, they're bringing hay bales, they're doing giveaways, they're doing all kinds of stuff, so, it's gonna be a good event, so I'm looking forward to it.
Do we have an idea how many people that your insurance was set to cover?
$1 million,
But 500 people, 200 people?
I have no clue. Like literally at the parade, nobody knew how many people were gonna be in the parade, and we had the streets lined. I mean, I put in the Hubbard communicate to see who's coming. I had like 39, 40 people saying that they're coming.
Okay.
But honestly, accurately, I can't tell you.
Because my concern is we have just a minimum amount of restroom facilities. We're not bringing in any extra, as opposed to, when we have events at the park. We have our minimum staffing and police, where normally on a larger event, sometimes we've required security. They brought in more police. The last thing we want is to have 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Or maybe opposing people that think it's a good idea to come to a community and ravage wild people up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got you, but this is my interrupt real quick, is when Matt Kennedy put that event on, he wasn't asked to go get insurance. He didn't even have to
Yes, he was.
He told me he didn't.
No, I have it right here in June. It came out in our June minutes from the council meeting. We specifically said, do you have insurance? He says, I'm working on it. It's a no-go until you bring the insurance in. And it's literally right here in this packet that we got.
And my event doesn't have alcohol. It's a kid-friendly, family-friendly show. Alcohol is not welcome on the premises, so.
Okay, so that's gonna be adhered to. That it's been put out there that it's no alcohol, no open container, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we just wanna make sure that those are the type of ground rules that are gonna be followed, because the last thing we need is an issue happening this Saturday.
Yeah, all right.
Any questions from staff?
Well, I just want to make a statement. So we have one officer out of the country on pre-approved vacation, and we have another officer who's going to be out of town with his family. So that leaves, and the other two officers, or three officers, two of them aren't scheduled to work on Saturday. So I've got to talk to one of the officers and see if he can come out. So we have minimum officer coverage, so just want to keep that in mind.
So if at any point that the police feel this might be going too much, and this is all under your name, that they will contact you to either limit it, shut it down, or whatever. If it gets to be that point. I don't think it will be. I think it's gonna be a great event. I think the band's gonna play, people are gonna have fun.
It's DJ.
But, okay, the DJ, but as you can understand, we have to prepare for worst case scenario, but yet hope for the best, that it's the best case scenario.
I won't let it go south. I'm in Monterey close.
Public Works, do you have any concerns?
Not at this point.
And all the proper insurance paperwork has been turned in?
Yes.
Council members, you've listened to what's happened. Robert, do you have anything to add, share?
No, I think you completely covered our main concerns, and I'm looking forward to a nice family event on Saturday.
Standing great. Tyler?
Yeah, I think the main thing is we want Rocky to know that we appreciate his volunteerism and the fact that he wants to put these events on. It comes across a little bit, James, like we're trying to hammer the guy over the head for trying to volunteer and put on an event. A lot of times around town, it's, oh, nobody wants to do anything. We can't get people to volunteer. We can't get people for commissions. Now we have somebody who's volunteering to try and put events on, and we're trying to red tape the guy into where he almost can't have an event. So I think we need to be a little bit lenient here, understand what the ground rules are, but also we need to let the guy put the event on rather than try and find ways so that he can't put the event on. I think that's my thoughts. And if there's a clear understanding of everything that we need to do, then let's be happy that somebody's putting on an event, because there's a lot of people sitting at home doing nothing right now to help the community or volunteer. So let's praise the guy that's actually doing it.
Yes, I agree. And we're not hammering him. We're just making sure that he understands that he's following the same rules that we're going to make everybody else follow. And we did with Matt when he did his thing. And it's going to be a good event. And he was a little upset about having to get the insurance, but he came through, he got a sponsor for it. And everybody understands that if something goes awry, that we have a contingency plan, including himself, in place. So he is commended for doing the job and following through. It's great for what he's doing. And we appreciate him. He's done a great job. Just want to make sure that there's not a surprise and that we're not necessarily ready for it. But we're all working together. Rocky, again, you heard us say we appreciate you for coming out, putting this together. I think it's going to be great. The weather's supposed to cooperate. It's going to be a good time. Thank you for following all the necessary requirements, and we look forward to doing this as time goes on. Okay. Anything else that we need to deal with that at this point? We're good to go.
Are you going to leave it in the consent, put it back in the consent?
At this point, I'm going to ask that it goes back into the consent agenda.
Okay, we also pulled that item number 1. I'll let Melinda talk to you about that one. She's the one that's been doing the legwork with Verizon.
All right, Melinda, go ahead.
So on that, like Mike had mentioned, we're not anticipating that anything is going to change in the actual body of the agreement. But it came to our attention that there may be an error in the property description. And so I have reached out both to the attorney, but also to Verizon. And Verizon is going to go ahead and have a professional surveyor come out and make sure that we do have a correct legal document. So what we're asking is for council to approve the Verizon lease as is, but contingent on us, confirming that the legal description is correct and/or inserting a correct one.
Great. And the question on that was, during the ice storm, Verizon did not have the backup generator. It was the other cell tower.
They actually did have a generator, but we did actually, like we had talked about, we did request that they add in, actually in the agreement, that they will provide power and service during an extended outage. And so that paragraph has been added in. And it does mention 72 hours. We have 3, 24-hour days for sure, but it's also mentioned that they will then continue to do their best efforts to keep power too. But yes, that was added in as a new paragraph.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Council members, do you have anything to address Public Works on?
I have nothing. Thank you. I appreciate your guys' effort.
You have nothing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Public Works. Okay, hearing nothing else, I'm going to get right to the consent agenda. I have to read every one of these.
You don't have to read, but when you make the motion, you'll need to amend the Verizon as to how Melinda, contingent upon confirmation of a correct legal description.
Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as stated with the exception of adding to item C contingent upon the corrected legal description that Verizon will supply us?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda with the correction stated regarding the contract with Verizon.
I second.
There's been a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, counselors and staff. Appearance of interested citizens. Can't play like a cricket song here, can
I can actually say.
Yes. Linda?
Linda Kosinski, 249 Main Street. I just kind of want to say to the fire department, at the Veterans Day ceremony, we are honoring Carlton Gianella. We're trying to remember at least 2 of them that's passed away, and he's one of them. And there are 2 girls that play the flutes. They're going to do duet taps for him. So just want you to know it.
Okay, thank you.
We have everything going okay. We have the program ready to go to the printer. We have all our publicity ready to put out as soon as we get it from the printer. And I will be sending a letter to the fire department through, I guess, Mike Corman.
Yeah, all right, you take it either way, but
Okay,
Michael would be a good person to get into.
because we would like some more chairs and
Okay.
probably the podium. Yeah. So, and thank you, Police Chief, for, offering your services. Of course, we asked for it, but you generously offered it, so thank you. But it's an all go. So.
Very outstanding. Thank you. Any other interested citizens? Hearing none, going to other city business. Tyler, do you have anything else, city business?
I do not. Thank you.
Robert, do you have anything, city business?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, I have nothing else as well. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Aye, motion passes.